Well, hello guys. Today we will be learning about Galatians, Hebrews, and Romans. I haven't done this in a while, so this is Galatians, Hebrews, and Romans, all parts. So, Hebrews. Hebrews is in the 2nd century. Paul supposedly wrote the book of Hebrews, but confirmation is uncertain. It was a group of Greek scripts that St. Paul wrote and sent to Jewish Christians. It was not because of a Catholic persecution, but because of weariness with the demands of Christian life and a growing indifference to their calling from God that Paul wrote to them. Paul wrote to them because they were going away from God and needed some encouragement through Paul. So, the theme of Hebrews is generally connected with the ministry of Jesus' life and teachings. He dwells upon the dignity of the person of Christ, superior to the angels. Paul is encouraging the Jewish Christians to stay firm in their faith and to acknowledge that Jesus died for us and his unique source of inspiration. Next, Galatians. When Paul is writing to Galatians, he is referring to his converts who he was separated to Turkey and were descendants of the Celts that Paul had told them about Jesus. Now, the Galatians were undermining Paul's authority by saying that he was not asserted directly from God and that his teachings did not match up with the teachings of the original apostles. So, Paul, when he heard this, told them of his apostolic authority and of the true understanding of the faith. He emphasized how Jesus died on the cross and his redemptive sacrifice on the cross. Finally, the letter of Galatians is generally about Paul's journey and his share of the gospel to the Galatians. Lastly, Romans. Of all the letters of Paul, the letter he wrote to the Romans has the most pride of place. Paul, at that time, was about to leave for Jerusalem with funds for the newly impoverished Jewish Christian believers there, taking up from his predominantly Gentile congregations. Paul wrote his letter because Christians existed in Rome, and the emperor had issued an edict questioning whether Jesus was on the Messiah or not. So, Paul writes this letter to the people who he says he writes to the people who are weak and the people who are strong. The, the issues that they are facing are like the problems that Paul was facing for the Corinthians. See my Corinthians video for this information. Paul asked them for their support in his inquisition of a mission trip to Spain, and that is the book of Romans. That's the main theme of Romans, but there's a little more, and this is just the summary of all three books, Galatians, Hebrews, and Romans. And that is what the book of Galatians, Hebrews, and Romans is all about. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing. It's free. You can always unsubscribe. Bye.